Welcome everyone to today's session on Credit Hound Cloud with myself, Sam Steer, one of the partner managers here at Draycir. So today we're going to take a look at our product Credit Hound and how that will work for you and your Sage 200 system. So Credit Hound Cloud is like it suggests, cloud-based software. So we use a web page to open it, simple login, and it brings me to this dashboard. So as you can see from my dashboard, I've got various little widgets that show me different information that I may need as part of my credit control process. So you can see here, I've got my total debt, how much is due, how much is overdue. I've got my disputed amount of debt and any debt that is non-allocated within Sage 200. So moving across, I've also got where my money is. So I've got quite a big pie chart here, and as you can see, because the figure is so high, it is mainly red for overdue, but you can drill into this as well and see non-allocated and disputed. So we also have a mini age debt. So I've got a very quick view of my age debt here on the left hand side. I've also got who's paid me. So if I had any customers who had paid me within Sage 200, they would appear here so I could see exactly who'd been paying for what over the last 7 days. I've got who's got my money, so I can see which companies owe me the most amount of money, and I may want to click on those to have a look at those accounts to maybe target these companies to try and get, a large sum of my money back. Finally, I've got a customer emails widget as well here. So what we've got here is when we send emails out via Credit Hound Cloud, if there is a problem with the email address, maybe it's been entered into the Sage 200 system incorrectly, or it bounces back because it's no longer in use, it will show here, and we can export that list to Excel so we can edit it or delete it, and then we can re-upload that back into Sage 200, and then that data will filter back into Credit Hound Cloud. So some of these dashboards and widgets are drillable. So you can see my mouse has a little finger hand over it. So anything you see that is drillable. So if I wanted to look at all of my overdue money, I could click down there and it would open up another page. Likewise, when looking at who has my money, I can go into any one of these accounts. So if I select Festival Homes, this will open up the Festival Homes customer page, and as you can see here, we've now got our information that we're pulling from Sage, so who they are, their address, etc. Are they on automatic chasing? So do we use the Credit Hound Cloud system to automatically chase them? What their currency is, and then we have a mini look at their widgets as well, so we can see what their balance is, their credit limit, how much they've got overdue, and do they have any invoices in dispute. We've also got a mini age debt for them as well as the key contacts. So the key contacts are being pulled from Sage 200 as well, so we can set as a default, if Maureen was to leave Festival Homes, we could set Chris Hawley as the default contact. Here we have all the outstanding invoices. So we can see everything that's going on, how much is outstanding, what the invoice reference is, and the date. So if I was to select one of these, I'd now have the option to add a note. We can send an email based on this invoice, or we can add it into dispute. So I can select multiple invoices if I wanted to chase multiple invoices at one time. So I could do that, and I could send an email out, write an email here and say, you owe us this money, please get it sent, and get that sent back out. So what we can do as well with these invoices, if we select an invoice, we can see on the right hand side any audit trail or anything that's been recorded for this customer. So we currently haven't got anything against this invoice at the minute. So what I can do is I can add a note and say test note. I can save that. And now that's created a note's been added successfully, and you can see it's created a transaction note here. So we can see any audit trail around this invoice, and it also shows us this little blue Note that means there is something stored against the invoice. So if we look further up, there's a couple more as well. So we could select this one, and on the right hand side, it would show us the notes associated to this one as well. But what we can do is when we select an invoice, we also have the option to put it in dispute. So currently I don't have anything in dispute at the moment. But what I can do is select this invoice, select dispute, confirm that it's been disputed by the customer, and now it's been added to the list. So it's been added in. So I've selected 2 invoices, it's totaled them, and you can see I've got £10,000 now in dispute, and 2 invoices here are disputable. So at a quick view, we can see that we've got this little exclamation mark icon. So we know something's going on with this invoice. We can also see the outstanding amount has turned amber. So we know straight away when looking at this quick view of what's going on with Festival Homes invoices that we have 2 that are straight away in dispute. So when an invoice is in dispute, it won't be chased automatically. So what we'd have to do is when that dispute's been resolved, we could resolve it from here. So it's resolving the transaction. You can now see that the total is not yellow anymore. It's gone back to being black. We've removed the exclamation icon. And on the right hand side, you can see that in the audit trail that the dispute transaction has been resolved. So you've constantly got audit trail of what is going on with your credit control system and who it's been done by. So you can see I'm the one who's created these items here. So on the customer screen, that's pretty much everything we need for now. So if I move to our customer view, so this is going to be a view of every single customer we have in Sage 200 who is being chased at this moment in time or has outstanding debt with us. So what we can see is all the accounts here. We can see if they're active, what their balance, credit limit, overdue, and if they have any amounts disputed and not allocated. We also can see what collection path they're on. So we're going to talk about collection paths very soon. And we can also toggle whether we want these people to be, this customer, sorry, to be chased automatically via a collection path or whether we do it manually ourselves and just use the credit hound for audit purposes. So again, we can drill into these customers from here if needs be, but we're not going to do that now. We're going to jump across to our collection paths while we're talking about it. So your collection paths all are shown here. You can have as many collection paths as you want. So you can create them based on customer needs. So you have a default path that everyone is put on initially. So you can see my default path here. I've got a name for it. I've got a description. So everyone within my organization will know what that means and when it's scheduled to run. So at 3:05 every day. And if I want to filter any transactions out of the collection path, or sorry, within the collection path. So I might say £1 with no maximum transaction amount. So if you did want a maximum transaction amount that you don't want to chase for within this path, you could add that here. So on the right hand side, I've got the path that my transactions will take. So initially 7 days before the invoice is due, we will send a friendly reminder out. And then you can see 1 day after we send a friendly overdue email, 7 days it's mild, 14 is moderate, and 21 we send a strong email out. So if we look at editing the email, we can see we're using a preemptive reminder template. So you will have multiple templates that you can create for your collection paths. And we give it a subject name, and this is just the body of the email. So anything with the brackets around them is a custom field that we're pulling from Sage 200 data. So you can add any of these to the email and it will just pick up that information and apply it how it can into here. So it will pick up, say, Maureen at Festival Homes. It will pick up the transaction or transactions that are overdue or 7 days from being overdue. And it will pick up your name and the company name here as well automatically. So what we can do is we can also edit these as well. So we may want to change that day to be 7 or 8 or 9, 10, whatever it is. So 10 days before the due date, send the preemptive email out. What you may want to do is chase certain customers in different ways. So if you have, say, some really bad payers who you don't want to put on a collection path that has a friendly reminder on, you could create a new path. And in your first action, you could say, you know, before 7 days or before 1 day, we need to send them the strong overdue template. So they might go straight onto a collection path that is built around your worst payers. So you don't have the friendly reminders. It's just straight into maybe moderate and strong, very strong action points. So hopefully they will pay quicker if they are traditionally your worst. You may also have the scenario where you may have customers, say, who you don't want to chase in the same way because they are worth a lot more money to your company, say. So I use the example of potentially Amazon. You know, you may not want to chase Amazon in the same way that you potentially chase, say, Draycir, for example, because they're probably worth a lot more money and to your company than Draycir is. So you may put them on their own collection path that just says, you know, really mild preemptive reminders, and then we're just really nudging them along that path as a reminder to pay. So every customer goes on a collection path. They all start on the default. So all you'd have to do is change the customer collection path via the customer screen that we saw earlier. The fourth tab along here is an age debt. So it's very similar to what you've got in Sage 200. The only the main feature here is that we can filter and we can sort. So if you wanted to see your biggest account in 120 days, or maybe who's got the most overdue days, so you can see here it's Country Kitchens are winning that race, and you may want to see who's got the most disputed. So we can filter anything along the top here. And also we have this filter in. So if you want to type, or you may want to say any of these equations here, we can add those in and filter your customer list by that, or your age debt by that. So a few other little pointers with Credit Hound Cloud is we have a communication tab here. So I haven't got anything at the minute, but all outgoing emails that are sent via the collection path or via your manual chasing from the customer screen will appear here, so you can go in and find them again. If a customer replies, the incoming email will reply and land in here, so you can see exactly what's come back to you on that. We also have these announcements here, so we can see everything that's being added to the Credit Hound Cloud product at any time. On anything to do with new releases will feed back into here. You can also access the help center, and if there's a feature that you particularly like or dislike, you can send us your feedback and let us know, is that feature going to work for you? Is it going to be good? Is there something maybe we've missed that you think, that'd be a really good idea with that feature if you just added X, Y, and Z? Let us know. We are very open to collaboration on these sorts of things, and the product is being developed all the time, so we are adding new features to it every few months. Finally, with it, when we go back to the dashboard, when you use it, and if you feel stuck at any point, come over to this eye on the dashboard and you can take a tour of Credit Hound Cloud. So very similar to what I've just shown you, but this will help you click through and it will just give you a brief explanation of what every widget means. If we just click through, it will show you your customer screen as well. So it will explain everything on here and it will take you through the Credit Hound product. It's very similar to what I've done with you today. So before we finish up, what it's worth showing you is Credit Hound Cloud has its own website, so credithoundcloud.com. You can get all the information on Credit Hound Cloud here. The key here is there is a 30-day free trial that doesn't require any card payments at all. You just give us your name, your company name, and your email address. You install it. It's very easy to install. You just download an installer and follow the install wizard, and then you're up and running. The other thing we have on here as well, which you may find some use in, is we have an ROI calculator. So if you were to come in here, excuse that it's dollars, it doesn't really matter. Just imagine it's pounds. you can come here, use the sliders to tell us your turnover, debt, overdraft limit, all of this sort of business. And when you do that and press calculate savings, you will get an estimated total annual savings on the right hand side here when you're done. So that's always good to see whether it's worth purchasing or not. Most of the time it is, I'd like to think. So yeah, that is Credit Hound Cloud in a nutshell. If you do have any questions, please do get in contact with Darren Tolley or Richard Bates at EBS.